Well, you talked before about the management of violence, and I want to ask you about the management of Ebola. I think, you know, the Army in particular, my Army has picked up this non-standard mission again. It seems to get everything that nobody else wants to do on some level. Do you perceive that this to be, you know, the mission the Army is going to have for the next 4 to 5 years, and as it projects besides power throughout the world, and will it be funded for it as it tries to really reinvent itself, as it's come back from 2 wars in Iraq and Afghanistan to try to resize? There's a lot of things going on in the Army right now, sir.
Yeah, there are. Chief and I talk about it a lot. There are a lot of things going on, but it's pretty exciting time to be the Chief Staff of the Army or the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs in regard of land forces, you know, because there is this notion out there that, you know, we're never going to fight a protracted land war, and we're never going to do stability operations, and we're never going to do this and that. And by the way, the fight against Ebola is a stability operation. You know, you can call it what you want, but we're trying to bring stability to a region of West Africa that is inherently unstable, and to contain that disease there and help we're not going to eradicate it. We're going to try to stabilize it, organize it, and then non-governmental organizations, whether it's MSF or others, can eradicate it. But it's a stability operation that, you know, one of the things we said that we're not going to do stability operations. I will tell you, you know, in terms of the U.S. military and how active it is, there's 10, you know this, there's 10 U.S. Army divisions in the active component. Each of them has about 16 to 20,000 soldiers. The headquarters themselves are about 750, and as we sit here today, 8 out of 10 divisions in the United States Army are deployed, doing something, whether it's in Europe to reassure our allies, Iraq, Afghanistan, West Africa, Korea, I mean, you know, fill in the blanks. So the idea that the tempo is going to dramatically change is just it's not feasible as I look at the world around us, which is why this thing called sequestration is so alarming, frankly. To your point about whether we'll get it funded, we have to get it funded. In fact, I think the administration is prepared to go over to Congress this week. And most of that money will actually be funded for USAID, United States Agency for International Development. But then as we are in support of them, we'd essentially bill them for the expenses that we're doing. One last thing about why is this Ebola issue important? I actually began studying, I'm not making this up, I began studying Ebola about a year ago, maybe a little less than that. I invited in a woman named Laurie Garrett, who wrote a great book about infectious disease called The Coming Plague. How's that for a nice nightmare in your life? The Coming Plague, not just about Ebola, but about the effect of globalization on infectious disease. And it really got my attention. So I invited her and we talked about it. I had the staff begin to, you know, to think about what would happen in the United States. So we began, this is what we do, right? We began to develop contingency planning for how the military could support other agencies of government and international organizations. We asked AFRICOM, as the Ebola thing started to, as we started to watch the rate of infection increase. By the way, this one is different. There was an infection in '76, one in '95, and now this one. Obviously, the disease mutates, and obviously as well, not so obviously maybe, this one is the first one that has had an urban aspect to it. So in prior times, you know, you'd have an Ebola outbreak in, you know, Lofa County, Liberia, and everybody'd say, oh my God, that's awful, but it'll burn itself out. And they generally did. This one is different. You know, this one has migrated its way into the urban setting. It's, you know, we've got airline flights and things that are connecting people. So we felt like we could contribute to organize the effort. We got a command and control headquarters, a logistics hub. We built a boot camp to train international healthcare workers how to protect themselves in that. We're not doing the care ourselves, but we're stabilizing the environment and giving confidence to the healthcare workers that if they do come down with the disease, they'll be cared for. And by the way, we think we're making some progress in Liberia. Sierra Leone is not trending favorably, and nor is Guinea. And we'll see what happens with that. You said, is it a 4-year mission? Probably not, but I'd bet it's every bit of 18 months, which would be 3 rotations of 6-month deployments.